Hey, welcome to the Explainer. So pretty much everyone has heard of the 7 habits of highly effective people, right? But here's the thing. Today we're not actually talking about the habits. Instead, we're going to dive into the powerful and honestly often overlooked philosophy behind them. It's the engine that makes the whole thing work, and it all starts with a really interesting puzzle about what it means to be successful.
It all began with this strange thing Stephen Covey kept seeing in his work. He'd meet all these people who had, totally made it. They had the money, the career, the recognition. They checked all the boxes. And yet, so many of them were struggling with this deep, nagging feeling, this inner hunger. Something was just missing.
And Covey himself put it perfectly. You hear this story all the time, right? Someone climbs that ladder of success, they get all the way to the top, only to realize they've sacrificed the very things that make life actually feel meaningful. It really forces you to ask a tough question. Is our whole idea of success just wrong?
Well, Covey's answer to that question was a big, loud yes. He argued that for the last century or so, our culture has become totally obsessed with a really superficial version of success. And this obsession, he said, created this huge split in how we think about getting ahead, leading to 2 totally different competing ideas.
So you've got these 2 models. On one side, there's the old-school character ethic, which is all about foundational principles like integrity and honesty. On the other side, you've got the much more modern personality ethic, which focuses on your public image, on charm, on technique. But check out that last row, because that's the real key. It's the difference between primary greatness, who you really are, and secondary greatness, which is just getting awards and recognition for it.
The personality ethic? This is the world of the quick fix. You know the type. It's all about learning slick communication skills, power strategies, how to dress for success. It's basically the get-rich-quick scheme of personal development, promising all the rewards without any of the hard foundational work. And at its worst, it's just straight-up manipulative, teaching you how to fake interest in people just to get what you want from them.
The character ethic looks at all that and says, nope, you've got it completely backwards. It's like trying to harvest a crop you never even bothered to plant. This philosophy says that real, lasting success is built on timeless principles. Why? Because all the techniques in the world are useless if people don't trust you, and trust can only grow from the soil of a good character. This quote from Emerson just nails the whole idea, doesn't it? What you are shouts so loudly in my ears that I cannot hear what you say. In the long run, our character, who we actually are, communicates way more powerfully than anything we could ever say or do. If you don't have that deep integrity, life's challenges will eventually just expose your real motives anyway.
Okay, so how do you even begin to work on something as big and abstract as your character? Well, Covey's answer is that if we want to make real, lasting change, we can't just tinker with our behaviors. That's just surface-level stuff. We have to go deeper, to the very source of our actions, which he called our paradigms, the mental maps that guide everything we do.
So what's a paradigm? It's really just the lens you use to see the world. It's your perspective, your frame of reference, your personal theory for how things work. Think of it like a map. We all carry these maps around in our heads, maps of how things are and maps of how we think they should be. But, and this is a huge but, we have to remember what the philosopher Alfred Korzybski first pointed out: the map is not the territory. Our perception of reality is just that, a perception. It's our own subjective personal map, not the objective world itself.
And this is where it gets really powerful. Imagine for a second you're trying to find a specific building in Chicago, but the map someone gave you is actually a map of Detroit. What would you do? You could try to change your behavior, run faster, or you could change your attitude. I'm going to be super positive about finding this place. But does any of that help? Of course not. You're just getting to the wrong place faster. The problem isn't your behavior or your attitude. The problem is you have the wrong map.
Now, to see just how much our mental maps control what we see, Covey talks about this fantastic experiment. Picture yourself in a classroom. An instructor flashes an image up on the screen for about 10 seconds, but only your half of the room can see it. He tells you to study it. What you see is a drawing of a young, stylish woman.
Okay, now, at the exact same time, the instructor shows a different image to the other half of the class, also for just 10 seconds. They see a drawing of an old, somber-looking woman. At this point, without anyone even realizing it, everyone has been conditioned. Their mental maps have been drawn.
And then comes the big reveal. He puts a third image on the screen for the entire class to see. This new drawing is a clever optical illusion. It's a composite that contains the features of both the young woman and the old woman. And then he asks everyone a really simple question. What do you see?
So what do you think they saw?
Remember, the entire room is looking at the exact same set of lines on a piece of paper, the same objective facts. But they don't see the same thing at all.
The room just erupts into an argument. The students who are first shown the young woman, they can only see the young woman. The ones conditioned with the old woman's picture, they can only see the old woman. And each side is totally convinced that they're right, and that the other side must be blind, or maybe just messing with them.
And this leads us to a really mind-bending conclusion. Two people can look at the exact same thing, disagree completely about what they're seeing, and both of them can be right. It's not logical, it's psychological. We don't see the world as it is. We see the world as we are, or as we've been conditioned to be.
So what does this all mean for us? It means that if we want to make real, significant changes in our lives, just hacking away at our attitudes and behaviors, what Covey calls the leaves, it's just not enough. We have to go deeper. We have to get to the root. And the root is our paradigms. This is the whole foundation of what Covey calls the inside-out approach.
The inside-out journey is a two-step process, and the order is absolutely crucial. It always starts with what he calls a private victory. That's the work you do on yourself, on your character, your motives, and your paradigms when no one's watching. Only after you've started to win that battle can you achieve a public victory, building truly effective, lasting relationships with other people. You just can't do it the other way around.
And let's be clear, this is not a quick fix. It's a commitment to a natural process of growth. You know, a farmer can't cram for the harvest. They have to patiently plant the seed, water it, nurture it, and wait. In the same way, we can't shortcut the process of developing our character. There are no hacks. It just takes time and consistent effort.
So at the end of the day, the philosophy that powers the 7 habits is this. True, lasting effectiveness doesn't come from a new productivity app or a clever negotiation tactic. It comes from doing the deep, sometimes difficult, internal work of aligning our mental maps, our paradigms, with the territory of timeless, universal principles like fairness, integrity, and simple human dignity.
Which really just leaves us all with one final, very powerful question to think about. It is so easy to get caught up in the hustle, in the busyness of life, just climbing and climbing and climbing that ladder of success. But Covey asks us all to pause for a moment and consider, is your ladder leaning against the right wall? Because if it isn't, every single step you take is just getting you to the wrong place faster.